everyone. Happy Monday. Today is day 6 of our 40-day Cultivating Real Life Homestead Challenge. And it's the big day that we've been waiting for, that we've been planning for, that we're excited about. Today is planting day. We've got plants going in the garden starting this morning. We got a lot of work ahead, so let's get on up there and get to work. As you can tell, we've already gotten started here in the garden with setting up a few things. Melinda's hard at work, just attaching some string to the areas that we had staked off. We're going to use that for barriers. We're going to talk to her a little bit about that in just a minute. But we've got a good bit of work ahead of us today, so let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we've got to do. Melinda's already been hard at work. She's been taking care of getting our area prepared. So what are we doing, and why are we putting up all of this string?
We are not doing traditional garden raised boxes. We are just marking off an area like a box, like a bed, a garden bed. We're using string instead. We're doing that so we can walk around it and we aren't going to be stepping on plants, and we have a place where we can sit, pull some weeds, and harvest when it's time to harvest without going in the middle, just walking around in the middle of our big garden bed.
One of the things we've got to do is we've got to move the poultry net fencing that we had used to cordon off this area. We've got to move it back. We're going to need some extra room to be able to maneuver around the garden area. So we're going to see if we can get that moved back now. We've got one of our soaker hoses. We're going to connect this to the water cube just to see if we can get it working. And then if it works, then we'll put this in our garden and we'll actually just connect the hose over to it. Unfortunately, the soaker hose didn't work, at least not the way it's configured right now. I think we just don't have enough pressure behind the water coming out, and there's a small disc that's in front of it. And usually you have that if you're connecting it to a line in the house so that it doesn't put too much pressure behind it and wind up blowing out the hose. We may wind up having to take that out, but for now, we're just going to connect a regular hose to the water cube and see if we can get water delivered to the garden that way. We'll figure out the other long term.
Corn, and they've got to be thinned 6 to 8 inches, so we're just planting them 6 to 8 inches apart so we don't have to come back and thin them. We're planting them on the north side so that when they grow taller than the other things, it won't shade our garden. We have planted all of our popcorn, all of our sweet corn. We're still trying to differentiate which seeds are which. So I think I know which ones are our pole beans, which are our watermelons. I can recognize cucumbers, and I believe I've got our squash, and of course the carrots are not hard. So I'm trying to just go on up in the garden and plant the next thing that needs to be planted. See how far we need to thin them and go on and get started.
Planting continues, but we've got more than just planting going on today. These boys are hard at work. Elliot, what are you doing?
Fixing the bike.
What's wrong with it?
Well, the wheel, it needs to be tightened because the chain keeps on popping off. So I'm pulling the wheel back, and then that makes the chain straight.
Elliot is our resident mechanic. He takes care of all of the bikes and he does a pretty good job. Ryan is also working hard on a bike. Ryan, what are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to tighten down this wheel so then the chain will not come off.
We have had a really productive morning here. Probably going to be drawing things to a close because we just got to get on to a few other things that are important to our family and to our house. We've got a special guest coming tomorrow, so we've got to get ready for our visitor. And also we've got to take care of a few errands away from the house. Plus, I've got to get some work done for clients. So we made a lot of progress here. We got a lot of seeds already put in on the back side of the garden. We've got more to go, but we're probably going to come back and get that maybe tomorrow. Melinda said that she might be able to get out here a little bit later again today. If so, great. But otherwise, we feel really good about the progress that we've made. You know, we've said all along, we don't have a lot of large blocks of time to be able to come and to spend just working on this. We've got other things going on. That's real life. So we're doing it as we're able. So if we split some of it up and do some things today and then some things tomorrow, great, that works for us. One of the things that we learned today, we learned a lot of stuff today. One of the things that we learned today is that we don't yet have really enough pressure in our water cube with the water to flow all the way out here to the garden. We got some, but definitely not enough to make the soaker hose work, and really barely enough to actually make the longer hose work. So we still got some work to do there. Perhaps getting more water in there, which is supposed to rain later in the week, will help with that. We just get more water, more force, so we'll be able to get more water out here to the garden. If not, we'll look at some backup plans. Maybe we have to get like a small pump or something like that just to be able to get the water over to this spot. It's not perfect, but we're learning, and that's real life. We also worked on getting the this fencing set up. This is just poultry netting, so it's really designed to keep either chickens in or chickens out. We're kind of using it that way, but as I said, I've said previously, our chickens can fly because we haven't really clipped their wings, so they could actually just fly right over top of this. So that's kind of a concern. We've got to make sure that we keep these as secure as possible. But yet another opportunity for us to learn some really important lessons. Cultivating real life. That's what we're calling this 40-day homestead challenge. That's what we're trying to do. We are trying to cultivate real life in ourselves, in our community, on this land, in our children. It's not always pretty. When you're learning things, you can get really frustrated. I get frustrated, Melinda gets frustrated, the kids get frustrated. But the difference is what do we learn from that, and how can we actually treat each other better? So we have those opportunities. We learned those things today. There were frustrations with fixing bikes. Elliot just got really frustrated because some things were not working out, so it was a great chance to learn. I wanted to move faster, and we weren't able to do that. That was a great chance for me to learn. But we're learning to work together, and that's the most important thing. So when we say this is a 40-day cultivating real life challenge and we're using our garden, yeah, I mean, we are trying to grow things, and that's important, but the bigger deal is that we're also learning how to do it together. And that, if we come out of that at the end of these 40 days doing really well, I feel pretty good about that situation. What is that?
A plant for Mama.
A plant for Mama?
Mom.
Mama, here you go.
Is this our peppers? Yummy, thank you.
So that's it for day 6 of this Cultivating Real Life 40-day homestead challenge. Thanks for joining us. The garden's making a lot of progress. We're feeling pretty good about where we are. We still have more work to go, but we're always going to have more work to go. But now it's time for us to go and play.